Welcome to episode 5 of Beyond Borders by MSA. For those that don't know, MSA Novo is one of the only global institutional funds systematically investing in emerging technology markets. And with Beyond Borders, we host the world's leading technology founders and game changers. I'm super excited to have Genco here with me today, Global VP of Enterprise Accounts at Insider. So Insider is Turkey and the Middle East's first software unicorn and the world's ninth largest B2B SaaS unicorn. So Genjo, let's first of all start by, hearing about your story, your early days, and what basically led you to join Insider.
Sure. Once again, thanks for having me, dear Sarah. It's such a pleasure to be here. Let me get straight to the topic. I have been at Insider for more than 3.5 years, but it took a lot of time and energy for me to find and discover the right path. Initially, I was like, I considered working for very attractive brands. I thought like being part of them would be fulfilling and would help me broaden my horizon and build skills, etc. But I noticed that things are not the way as they seem. This is the reason why I'm following careers in Nike and Apple, and initially another fast-moving consumer goods company, Henkel, basically Henkel, Nike, and Apple, respectively. I realized that I need to be part of the startup world, and I need to work with real builders just to fulfill my human potential and contribute. Meanwhile, because I guess it is growth is a function of contribution, in my opinion. It cannot be theoretic, definitely, and it is a self-reinforcing thing. Once most probably you and all the audience will be quite familiar with this name, Naval Ravikant, who is a famous venture capital, and in my opinion, he's a techno-philosopher. I once read a quote grabbed my attention, which was like, high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. I said, exactly, and this is what I should do. This has not been fulfilling so far. So I decided to pick a different path, which led to my current journey at Insider. It has been roller coastering from the very beginning, but it was worthy, in my opinion. Now I'm literally grateful, despite all the headwinds locally, globally, etc. But it was truly fulfilling. After those journeys, I don't have much to mention, to be honest. But then I joined a startup called The Blue Ground, which received more than 500 millions of funding. The amount is quite significant because it is a shared property management startup. I have worked there and then joined Turkey's largest payment processor and one of the digital wallet providers, EasyCo. Right before joining EasyCo, it was so fun. I was kind of between Insider and EasyCo, and I picked EasyCo PayU initially. The fun part is that it seems that it is inevitable to join Insider. But good news for me is that now I can see things through a broader lens because I have this fintech and payments background, which is more of checkout success from a conversion standpoint. But then I joined Insider, and it is more MarTech. Basically, it's 100% pure MarTech and personalization company. Sometimes I take advantage of my broader experience when it comes to digital world. I have been at Insider for more than 3.5 years, and when I take a look at backwards, it seemed a bit thrilling and scary initially. But now I built a lot of skills. I met great people. I had this fulfilling opportunity to build something tangible ever growing, ever evolving.
And you mentioned something, so I just wanted to ask you first, have you always been in sales? Has sales been something that,
It's
I got out of university, I want to get into sales, this is what I want to do. And then throughout your career journey, and you've worked with a lot of global companies, right? And you also worked with a lot of major Turkish-based companies. So how does your role and experience differ from, being in Turkey and then trying to manage your role within the global environment?
let me address them all. Sarah, it was so fun that when, like, since I was 14, everybody asked me and suggest, like older people around me, more experienced ones. They like they always told me you should be in sales, you should be in sales, etc. Like I was like, what is the reason? I mean, I can articulate myself pretty clearly, like both in Turkish and English. So I thought initially the way I kind of convey my thoughts, communicate with them sincerely, transparently. I just thought, like, is this what they consider and appreciate, and is this the reason why they come up with such a perspective? And it was the very first time I noticed that it might be the right path for me, because I was like asking for like additional funding from my mom, and I realized that I should stop doing this. And I asked her if I can trade and sell second-hand stuff that we don't use anymore, etc. She said, "That's fine, that's fine. May I make some money?" She said, "It's fine." And over time, she asked me, "Can you tell me the reason why you don't ask for like your weekly savings, etc.?" I said,
Yeah.
"Because I sold them all." And
I just sell your stuff at home, right? So I don't need allowance.
exactly. And what was so funny is that my friends, they reached out to me and they asked for some help, and I started selling their stuff as well. Obviously, without a cut, no commissions at all. I did it for close friends. And over time, like I questioned my tendency a lot, but over time I realized that in order to build a pipeline, in order to prospect customers, in order to navigate through their organization, to collect intelligence, to shape your reiterate your strategy and tactics all the time, it takes a lot of effort. It turned out to be way more strategic and let's say fulfilling than I thought. So I said, okay, now this is the right path. I should proceed further and further. And the reason I joined Insider was that like both I have worked for both sales, new business, and account management roles. When I met with Serhat and Arda, I told them like, in order to scale my learnings, I would like to train and coach people. These are my thoughts. This is what I have in mind. Like, if you appreciate, I would like to join, and then, in my opinion, we can scale. Then I go back when I take a look at like this past 3 years. We literally scaled through my experiences, but it was so self-reinforcing that I tested many arguments of mine with younger account managers, account executives, etc. I kept improving. So yes, it was my first choice from the very beginning. It evolved and got a lot way like more mature, challenging, and complex over time. But I never lost my mojo when it comes to sales and business development and new business generation and or revenue generation. In reference to your second question, so when I jumped out of like Turkey ecosystem, I noticed that like due to the very nature of the negotiation here in Turkey, I became a very avid negotiator on a global scale. So it helped a lot. That's all I can tell. And I'm grateful when I consider this a lot. I mean, it is not that you negotiate relentlessly and keep insisting, but I give an attempt to discover what matters for the client. And literally, my drive is to generate value for them, but through determining the delicate balance, finding the almost perfect equilibrium, considering the resources. That's what I give an attempt. So it doesn't feel like I negotiate. Instead, like I feel like an interpreter, peacemaker, assigning resources in a way that both parties would ensure growth in an optimized fashion. That's how I feel and think of it, and that's how my beautiful country trained me in that sense.
No, I think, like you said, negotiation is definitely a culture when it comes to this part of the world. It's a culture that we have to reinforce. If you don't have to negotiate in the Middle East and Turkey, you can negotiate anywhere in the world. So always build good salespeople. And you also mentioned earlier a few tips on what makes a great salesperson. So this is something that I do want to get with you later on in this conversation. But before we dive deeper, I'd like to first, in a nutshell, hear from you. What does Insider do?
We still revisit our narrative to translate what we do, because it's not stable and not a matter of status quo, because it's an ever evolving thing. So what I can tell in that sense, dear Sarah, is that like Insider is a marketing data powerhouse for companies, but it is not that Insider, due to its very unique architecture, I can tell, we form individual level user and consumer profiles using the data coming from different platforms as well as different channels. So you may leave a digital footprint on your phone, then you can start using your laptop and visit a website or a brand's app, through 1 month or 2 weeks of intervals following 2 weeks of time, let's say. What we do is to make and come up with great experiences for users and individuals and consumers in a way that digital estate will be shaped in a very productive way, in a very tailor-made way, through user and let's say consumer unification. But it is not that we predict what your tendencies are to come up with beautiful experiences. It's not just sales. Just please consider any type of call to action. I can tell, in order to make it more tangible, when you jump in a website and search for a pair of sneakers, the issue is that there are more than 250 or 400 pairs there. So in a shorter period of time, what we would like to achieve is to make Sarah see the most relevant ones, considering several factors, including like top sellers, stocks, like your tendency when it comes to colors, etc. So this is just a retail perspective, but what makes Insider relatively unique is that it is not just a marketing powerhouse or customer data platform. Insider also has several channels like SMS, WhatsApp, very nascent and trending channel, which is WhatsApp, email, on-site, recommendation, etc. So basically, we, thanks to our architect product as an instance, in the industry jargon, it is known as journey builders. We create appealing and beautiful journeys for individual users and consumers to remind them that their favorite product is within the stock now. There is a promotion that they might be interested in. there is a news that they might like fond of reading, so they may consider sharing their email, etc. So it's not just retail centric, but it might be applicable for an online media platform as well, just to generate greater, more personalized, more meaningful interaction.
So you spoke a lot about collecting all of these different data points from individual users, personalization. And data is, as we know, it's a universal language now. We live in an information economy. So I just wanted to jump maybe on the other side for your customers. How are you always a step ahead of your customers, knowing what they want or knowing what potential trends they want to predict for their users? Because users are very easy to understand with all of these different data points, with all of that data collected across all of the apps that we have. But how can you, service your users before they ask for it in a way?
That's a great question. In my opinion, like one of the key success factors is the information flow coming from the clients and the partners, but unless it is utilized, it doesn't help at all. So the good thing about insider culture or our operating system is that when I or an account executive, either an account executive or account manager or a senior leader, ask for help of a product trial as part of a partnership or governance program with a particular partner, they are super eager. They aspire to join this conversation to receive instant, immediate feedback from the market. It's not that matters what we think, but there are really smart, very driven, very business-centric digital leaders all around the world. So maybe I can tell that we should respect the way that they are ahead of us, but we should we don't let pile up all those requests, but we process them in a very systematic and structured fashion, so that we don't behave recklessly and just build stuff that we think of interesting. Definitely not. So I can tell we are checking the landscape relentlessly, quite obsessively, from competition to successful internal applications coming from insider products. But we also keep a keen eye, and more than I can tell, on our partners and clients to enable information flow to iterate our products and build newer ones. If I come up with a tangible instance, we launched a product called Serious AI. Now we can customize individual level journeys using different type of channels like on-site app, email, WhatsApp, SMS, and WhatsApp commerce through smart chatbots that we built, etc. So one of our partners kindly asked us to come up with a demo and present them the new product. We immediately called our reinforcements and reached out to our product manager. In my opinion, I told her, you should run this session. I will be there together with the account owner. But would you like to hear thoughts from their perspective and their own challenges so that we can blend those into the existing product? She said she was super grateful and immediately ran 3 demos in 2 weeks' time, despite running the most burdensome, most demanded product at Insider. So I can tell we do our best to be ahead of the curve.
AI is trending now. It's the next big thing. All companies are trying to plug in AI. So how has AI mainly shaped your insider's roadmap around personalization. And specifically, if you could tell us more about what applications or tools you find most promising within, how Insider is built and how you're able to service your users.
Today, we are at a stage that now Insider can take advantage of its machine learning. Like we are a company that has been around since 2012. So say we are 14 years old almost. So we accumulated a vast amount of data so far. So training the given data helped us a lot when it comes to predicting the best next thing to do or most expecting step from the users and the consumers. But today, now, think like I'm not going to mention Serious AI, our own very product, but at this stage, now we can combine and blend like OpenAI API with our accumulated data that we have trained so far, which we have done for more than 13 years. Now we have a very precise laser sharp targeting data. When those two combine, it literally casts magic, I can tell Sarah. The reason, like, for instance, let me put it this way. So far, marketers have this privilege to have 5, 6, or 7 segments. But when it comes to crafting individual level journeys and personalization, say, basically reach out Sarah using this channel, be it SMS, WhatsApp, on-site, etc. The second best channel would be channel BC. The next one will be DEF, etc. Doing this on a individual level, it is too demanding. Like now we are going through like the financial outlook is not that welcoming lately, and it won't remain it will remain unwelcoming for a while at least.
Yeah.
Now we have different demographics, different funding conditions, etc. So that means marketers will be under pressure to deliver results, if possible, great results with limited resources, be it funding or be it a few people working for the department, digital marketing sub-department. Or so what we do, we help them predict the best next channel. We help them craft individual level AI and Insider machine learning combined, like super powered, say, artificial intelligence capacity unlocked. Thus, now marketers can automate and predict great journeys and personalizations on an individual level. So far, it was a bit, say, having 5 segments or and alongside 25 journeys was more of approximation. But now it is now we can mirror the reality on individual levels as well, which would help users and consumers have delightful journeys both across all the channels. Now marketeers, they don't walk alone, and they don't necessarily build all those individual level or say 25 or 30 segment 35 journeys in line with 35 particular segments on their own. Basically, they have more superpower, they have more gunpowder when it comes to building very, very surgical level experiences thanks to insider capabilities. This is where we are lately. Now, 3 or 5 marketers have, like, say, more than 15 to 20 marketers working alongside them. This is where technology led us so far.
And if we were to look, just look more into the different sectors or industries you work in. So you work in automotive, retail, betting, finance, travel, all over. There's no company that you really can't impact. So when it comes to AI, which industries do you think will be most impacted, and which industries will be, the least impacted? Or are they all the same? What are your thoughts on that?
A few days back, Sarah, I noticed, like, when I participated this aforementioned demo of our product, Sirius AI, I noticed that, like, it had such a feature, Sarah. It was like, we can come up with a brand positioning, we can come up with a call to action for you, and we can come up with a content with, like, visualization on behalf of you. Basically, you just you don't even submit an input, but it generates several outputs that you can pick. So it immediately reminded me of like human workload, for instance, the ones pretty common in creative agencies, as an instance. Content agencies as another instance, like, they are quite similar to each other. Now, like, I felt like, at least for the, like, common use cases when it comes to content and script generation, now marketers, they don't necessarily share a brief to a marketing agency, and then they wait a while to receive a couple of options to pick between them. Now it is embedded in a single product interface. Not just referring to Insider. I know several friends launching websites, building some websites. Now they rely on ChatGPT as their virtual assistant. And for instance, we were discussing a little bit of macro markets yesterday with a friend of mine. We were kind of like, we felt a bit lost. We, like, just couldn't correlate it to macro factors. And when he asked ChatGPT about what to do and how to grasp that, the answer was so satisfying. It was like satisfying in a horrifying way. So I can tell ChatGPT already replaced search to some extent. Now, like, it is amazing. Like, it was thrilling and amazing meanwhile. And now I guess it already started replacing some like human labor oriented functions and tasks, like content and script generation already. I know that, like, when it comes to investing, there are a couple of, like, fintech brands taking advantage of machine learning or AI to some extent for less risky but more robust like profit realization and investing, etc. So, but I can tell, I can mention those industries, but in my opinion, mainly search would face significant competition from ChatGPT, like, not to mention for sure, like, Google launched Bard as well. So they're not just watching what competitors do. These are the initial ones coming in my mind, Sarah.
And what's your outlook on the global trends? Having said that, and all we're living in now, what do you think would the future hold? Or specifically, the global, the outlook on global trends within your space, maybe.
Sure. I guess last year we had this turning, like, point some call it even fourth turning. It's a famous book. I didn't read it yet, to be honest, but now, Sarah, we are heading towards a very different stage in modern history. The reason why is now demographics shifted a lot. I mean, once we had this cheaper energy, because humanity invested in energy in 1970s and 80s, and it was a lot abundant. Now we have this challenge. We are going through the renewable energy investments, etc., but it's not that easy. So energy prices tend to be higher. When it comes to demographics, when we see things from a demographics perspective, all the demographic shift seems to be quite inflationary. So what I refer to is that higher energy costs, and once we had this disinflationary demographics, but now we have a lot more older people. Now we don't in manufacturing and investments have no option similar to China to keep things reasonable. So funding will be tougher. It will be a roller coastering up and down inflationary decade. I mean, the next decade. So funding would be relatively tighter. So companies and individuals will compete on less and more restrained resources. So I don't think that we will see similar valuations we had in the last decade, let's say. But I don't deem it as a bad thing, because now more value generating and true innovation will grab attention of the funders and talented people. In my opinion, we may enjoy way more productive, maybe less global. The number of global success stories might be less, but the talent and great entrepreneurs, the great builders would receive more funding from existing funding pools to build greater things under pressure. But humanity went through such tough and pressuring times a lot, and we managed to survive and create a better well-being. So this is what I think of broader economic outlook, and I expect a change when it comes to what we understand of money as well.
No, I think definitely this is the first time probably within some time where we really can't predict the next few months, given the geopolitical situations, the different financial regulations. So we're all in for a surprise. But you did mention funding. So I wanted to congratulate you on your recent round, the $105 million round. And very, very good congratulations, given that, we have a global decline in funding. And I read also that you're mainly focusing on M&As with this round. So I think my last question would be, to wrap this up, is why are you looking into more, merger and acquisitions, consolidating the market rather than developing internal technologies?
As an instance, I have worked for Apple, and Apple rarely acquires companies, or when they acquire, it's just a $300 million or $500 million. I mean, it's a huge and significant amount of money, but compared to Apple's size, it seems negligible. It sounds and seems negligible. But I appreciate the way Apple acquired companies, because Apple acquires companies when they are promising, when they are self-sufficient, but when they are relatively smaller, so that they can kind of blend the acquired company into Apple organization efficiently. But when two gigantic companies, they tend to merge, the the stakes are high, and odds of success is quite low when we examine several mergers back in modern history. So this is the acquisition mindset I appreciate, and this is what Insider did lately as an instance. Now, then I will come up with a more generic response. Lately, we acquired Mind Behind. It is like but definitely AI-backed and ChatGPT integrated like chatbot. Basically, it's a web chat, WhatsApp chat, and multi-platform chatbot automation. I can tell that's a very, very smart one. They had a up and running, very robust product. They were kind of self-sufficient, and they were on a growth trajectory. And there is such a chemistry between Insider's existing product portfolio, and it is very complementary, and I can tell the reason why. The most common platform that either users and or companies utilize smart chatbot conversations are mainly on WhatsApp. Insider already had WhatsApp as a channel, and it was one of our fastest growing channels lately. Basically, it is the channel in which users are quite engaged naturally. It's not something we drive. They are already there. Now they can track their shipments. Now they can buy stuff. Now they can book a session to drive and test a car on WhatsApp without giving a call. So Mind Behind, as an instance, had this experience to shape and compose beautiful, authentic conversations on WhatsApp. So when it comes to Insider and Mind Behind, as an instance, Insider already has a client base using WhatsApp that would be eager to adopt and utilize Mind Behind solution to come up with greater, more personalized and authentic experiences to drive growth and delight their users and customers. So this should be the mentality, in my opinion. The resources are limited, so you cannot build everything on your own. But there are great builders there, lacking some either funding or resources, growing their business gradually under financial pressure, like drawing funding, etc. So, in my opinion, there should be such a match between the acquired companies and the acquiring companies, so that the result will be more than sum of their parts. This is what we have achieved with Mind Behind, and I definitely suggest this solution to founders and and companies that are willing to acquire those founders' companies and welcome them mainly, as we did at Insider. So my answer is that we should split development into phases and take a look at the resources as usual. If you spot a self-sufficient startup that is on a growth trajectory, complementing your existing products, then for the right price, definitely a greater scale-up or a bigger startup can acquire it. But when it comes to building things, in my opinion, either scale-ups and startups, the greater ones, should invest on their cutting-edge tech to improve it, or have a long-term think it when it comes to building things on its own that is very sophisticated and complicated that other relatively smaller startups and builders cannot undertake. This is how I think of it, and this also reveals Insider's acquisition strategy, I can tell.
Okay, and like you said, I mean, all goes back. Growth comes from collaboration. So that's definitely one thing that's gonna stick with me. Genco, this has been really fantastic. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time.